DESC. Still in ICU because of you. I have to say that this homeless situation is being caused by the program's executives and directors that are running a scam and a sham on this great city of hospitality. Um, I really empathize with Ed Murray, our very smart mayor, who's a nice person whose heart is in the right place for the city and the community. But he can't understand what's going on because he's being lied to by the duplicitous acts of criminality and the corruption that's endemic in any society. But the way that I feel about this, and I think that everyone would agree, is that if you steal from poor people, there's a special place in hell for you. So I suppose that since none of these organizations, homelessinfo.org, on and on, I've spoken to all the executive directors of all of these nonsensical organizations that really can't do anything about what they intend to do because they don't care about what they're doing. I mean, these people fly around and go to meetings and talk about protracted expectations of success. And so the fact that Seattle is a very place filled with ingenuity and money and technology and development and expansion, we have to be able to adapt and innovate and welcome all that are new. And so we have to heal our sick society through and through. I'm not going to get a pass by or a pass around by any more of these assholes that are running these organizations that are putting lives at risk and actually killing people. And I do think that, it's evident to me that DESC is a modern day killing field right in the city center. And these buildings worth hundreds of millions of dollars as a collective. I mean, I know the collective between the charities. If you take the 50 buildings in Western Washington owned by the Catholic Housing Services, paid for by us, why on earth would the Catholics be getting a dime from the federal government or from anyone? Is beyond me. I grew up Catholic, and the sins of that church will never be forgiven by anyone. And so since nobody goes to their churches anymore, they're in a land grab just like McDonald's, where they're getting people's sympathy and the public charity in a mistrust through throwing people out on the street on a consistent basis, so that they're in the face of the public, which they shouldn't be, because the shelters are expelling people to the streets for nonsensical reason. When you have hundreds of employees and each one of them has the exact same authority, then you've got abuse of authority across the board. When you've got sweeps where people's personal belongings are being confiscated, and then the staff is wearing the items or using the drugs that are taken up in these sweeps because these people don't want to get barred and thrown outside in the cold without any services into the danger of our city streets at night, because as you know, everything bad happens after dark. So, I did voice my concerns that our Muslim brothers, American brothers and sisters, were being served ham sandwiches. And even Christian Orthodox Eritreans and Ethiopians are being served ham sandwiches. And, the disruption that the United States government causes globally and the hatred towards Muslims really has to stop, because the them and us has nothing to do with spirituality. Earth is my religion, nature is my spirituality, and people are my reason. And so, I had to stop and pause because I'm a human being that cares about other human beings in my community and in my society. And that's the reason why I wanted to use, or I'm intending to use, the economy of pizza so that young mothers can bring their kids to work for free daycare. But that initiative had been put on hold from the grand and grandiose launches that I've had in the past, because the elements of disgrace, that are associated with this DESC most specifically, and the executive director, Dan Malone, that I'm demanding be signed. I mean, it was stated to me by one of his program directors that he was very concerned about a lot of the issues that I brought up that need to be tended to. The fact that people are walking around with open wounds. The fact that they're eating food with filthy hands and food that's not made with love, that has no nourishment whatsoever. There is no caregiving. This isn't caregiver fatigue. This is absolute straight up abuse and abuse of public trust, abuse of lives and souls, and abuse of human civil rights like I've never seen. When Reagan decided to privatize, these public housing institutions through charitable enterprises, I don't think that he expected, that the churches would become the biggest thieves on the planet and that they would be responsible themselves for the death and destruction of people in our community. But it's evident to me, since no man of cloth has come down in 5 months to meet anyone from any church, synagogue, or temple, mosque. And so, that means they're false prophets. I don't care. I'm not a man of cloth, and I'm not here to proselytize. The only reason that I have a voice is because I'm not dead yet. But they haven't killed me. It looks as though my fever broke, and I'm getting out of ICU, so I will see you. Seattle, this is going to go down hard because I'm not playing. I've never been a player. And when it comes to human lives, it is not a practice. And so, Dan Malone, you said you would not change your practices as executive director of DESC. Well, you don't have to. You can resign your filthy position for your filthy acts of your filth. I've never been more disgusted by anything in my life. The malfeasance and maltreatment of the clients that represent DESC have to be protected by our community. I think that the health inspector needs to go in there immediately. This is a call to action, Seattle. We need people to understand that this is a life and death situation on a daily basis. People are being bagged and tagged. Now, I might be old and cold, but I'm not dead and buried. So God help them when I get well.